Right. Hello, everyone. It's very nice to see so many of you here logged in. Let's start the webinar then. So, as you know, the title is Email English, Tips and Tricks. And this is actually what we're going to do today. I'm going to share with you some tips on how to write good, effective emails. But there will be some interesting, fun stuff to do as well. So I hope you won't get bored. Well, first of all, I wanted to start with a little bit of mystery puzzle. I hope you maybe like Indiana Jones films or Dan Brown's books, you know, secret symbols, that kind of stuff. You're going to see 4 pictures. And in each of them, there's going to be a symbol hidden somewhere. I want you to spot it and maybe try to connect it to the subject of our webinar today, okay? Here comes the first picture. And here comes the second picture. And here comes the third. And the fourth, okay? Secret symbols. Could you please use the chat box function if you have any clue what could be the common link between these 4 photographs. And I can see some answers from Krzysztof and from Kasia and from Marta and from Radek and from Wojciech. Yes, the common thing is that little symbol over there, but have a look. It's the 14th century text. And this one comes from the 15th century. And here it is, the same symbol. And this one, 17th century, well, it rings a bell, doesn't it? And finally, from a pre-war typewriter, the symbol comes again. Now, what is the symbol, right? How do we say it? Of course, we know we use it in emails, but how do we actually say the word? And I've got first answers. Of course, it's not monkey, right? The way you pronounce it, is at. Now, I did a little bit of research on this symbol, and well, actually, it's got a very interesting history because originally it meant well, it had a lot of meanings. One of them was this: at a price, at a rate of something. So you could say that you want to buy 2 apples at $2, for example. But it also used to mean at a place, like let's meet at somewhere, right? At a court, for example. And this meaning was somehow acquired in the 20th century to use as, you know, a name located at an email domain. Do you know who this man is? He's not very famous. I'm not even sure if he's a millionaire like Bill Gates or the late Steve Jobs. But this guy, well, his name is Ray Tomlinson, and he was the inventor of email. And he was the first person to use at in the meaning that we have just discussed. Can you believe it? You know, that's the man. Thank you. Thank you, Ray. Now, that's the actually the 2 machines he used to send the first email between each other. So, so you see, many things have changed since then, of course. Right, so that was the little mystery I wanted to start with, but it's not all, actually, because there's one more symbol that many of my students, at least, ask me about. It's this, you know, the blue line between my name and 23. Any idea how to pronounce it, how to say it aloud? It's not a very easy thing to do, actually. And some of your, I can see some of your suggestions, like floor, dash, underline, Kajetan. Very good. It's underscore, of course. That's how you call it, underscore. It's good to know how to say this symbol aloud, how to say its name, because it happens to be a very often sign in email addresses. So well, email addresses could be a challenge in themselves as well, because how to, the question is how to say them. The thing is, you have to spell everything. So, for example, this address, you would just spell it PIOTR_23 at gazeta.pl, GAZETA.pl. So, if you have an email address that you want to share with someone, just spell it, right? Like, for example, over the phone. So I want to show you what our plan is for today, and we've just covered the big @ mystery. What's more to come? Well, first of all, we'll take a look at email categories, right? We'll just see what kind of emails there are and what we should be careful about. We'll have a look at emails from, let's say, historical point of view, and then we'll just move on to practice. We'll see how to start emails, how to write an opening sentence, how to inform the reader about attachments, and how to conclude emails. And finally, we'll also learn how not to make mistakes. And we'll have a look at a couple of examples from, authentic emails. So we'll see how things work in action. And the last point, I'll teach you how to write an OOO. What could that be? You have to stay with me until the very end to actually learn what OOO means. Okay, so let's take a look at some of the email categories. Now, basically, we could say that there are 3 types of email: formal, neutral, and informal. Now, let's take a look at some of the differences between them. Of course, the formal emails are the ones that you would write to, for example, your CEO, or to a new business partner, or to some institution, right? Some serious emails. The things that are characteristic, well, I just have a couple of points about them. The style is of an old-fashioned letter, So sometimes it doesn't have to sound very modern. What's more, these emails are also used in, when we write it to communicate serious matters, like, for example, complaints, right? When we are angry at an institution. These could be emails to our customers. In such emails, we would rather use full forms. So don't use I'll, don't use we're, no contractions, definitely. We also use fancy vocabulary and grammar. We'll see what that means in a moment. And of course, there's 0 tolerance to spelling mistakes, any mistakes whatsoever, actually. And there are lots of fixed expressions. We'll talk about them very soon. Some of the examples could be, I look forward to meeting you next week, or thank you for your email of the 15th of May, or attached, please find 2 copies of the contract. That kind of fixed expressions. Okay, so these were formal emails, but actually, neutral emails that you send between, workmates, for example, they tend to be the most common. So neutral emails, these are the ones that are exchanged between workmates, colleagues, and business partners that you know, right? You have at least had one email exchange between someone and you know that person. So just people you know. So what's so characteristic about them? First of all, we have to know that this is the most common style in professional and work emails. What's more, the language there is just simple, direct language. And, the writer and the reader, they are just busy. So they don't have time to, write lots of things. So there are short sentences, and contractions are welcome, for the sake of economy. So these were neutral emails. Now, what about informal ones, right? So we talked about our bosses, talked about our colleagues, like, for example, between departments. Now, this is about friends, close friends, or sometimes close workmates, right? Or close business partners. What's so special about them? Well, the style is very close to speech, okay? And they've got a lot of informal words and conversational expressions. We'll have a look at a couple of examples in a moment. And actually, in informal emails, anything goes, right? So spelling mistakes happen all the time. Now, just a quick question before we move on. One of you wrote in the chat box that there's no voice. If you have some problems with my voice being heard, just don't be afraid. Just let me know. I can see that it's okay now from Arkadiusz, from the same person. Arkadiusz, thank you very much. Okay, so let's move on. Well, this is something that I wanted to tell you as well. I want you to be tolerant, actually, because, email rules can be broken. And this is what we can see in real emails. Email styles are often mixed. So sometimes, we can read an email from a native speaker which has characteristics of something formal mixed with something informal. Okay. Historically speaking, if we look at the difference between official formal emails and informal emails, there's something very interesting to learn about, or maybe to remind yourselves of. Well, it's this date, it just pops up everywhere, it pops up, if you learn English, this date means a lot, because this is when Normans, let's say French people, that's a generalization, but let's say French people invaded Britain. There was a bloody battle called the Battle of Hastings. Many people died. The French army invaded the British Isles. King Harold, the English king, is pierced with a French arrow. He dies on the battlefield, I think. I'm not quite sure of that. Maybe there are some historians among you who could help me here. But basically, the arrow meant the end of English rule for some time on the British Isles. And the king who won, he was later called William the Conqueror. He was French. He spoke French. Well, actually, he was Norman, but he spoke kind of, French, let's say. And what he said was that from now on, you will speak the French language. So no more Old English. This time, when you want to write something official, when you talk to one of my ministers, when you want to write an email, of course there were no emails back then, but if you want to do some business with my people, you use French vocabulary like assistance, provide, possess, requirements, reserve, due to, further. Of course you can speak Old English. I'm not a monster, but you can do it, on your farms, on your markets. So the poor people, like, farmers, salespeople, they just used, Old English vocabulary like more, have, give, needs, book, because, and help. So if you think about this, in the context of current emails, the type of thing we do at our desk almost daily, you can see the influence of 1066 of William the Conqueror. Because if you want to write something formal, you write assistance. But if you want to write an email which is neutral, you would write rather help, provide, give, possess, have, requirements are needs, reserve is to book, right? Due to becomes because, and further becomes more. So you see, that's the way you can tell the difference between styles. If you think about vocabulary, right? Those French and Latin-based words, they are usually longer. They have more than one syllable, and the ones based on Old English, they usually have one syllable. And of course, they should be used in informal or neutral email exchanges. So once again, William, thank you very much for giving us the fancy, sophisticated vocabulary. What you would say would be probably, I'd like to reserve a table, and an Old English farmer would say, I'd like to book a table. Okay? So that's how it was. Actually, that's how it is still. But we have something important to do today. We have to learn how to, just write emails, basically speaking. So we have to know how to start. Okay, how to start? That's a big dilemma for everyone who, is about to write something, the blank page syndrome. But I've got some good news for you. We'll have some nice tables with formal, neutral, and informal suggestions, like phrases that you can use in the future. Just like Anya said, we'll be sending you a nice PDF file with all these phrases. So you can jot things down today, you can take snaps, but you will have them in one PDF file soon in your mailbox. Okay, so we want to start an email, and it's a formal email. What do we write? Usually when we don't know the name, the surname of the person, we can use the official formal letter kind of thing, like Dear Sir or Dear Madam. If we don't know who we're writing to, we can also start to whom it may concern. And if we know the name, we can just write Dear Mr., Dear Miss, or Dear Mrs. Brown. Now, in the neutral emails, things are a bit different because, we can, if we don't know the name, right, we can just say hello or hi there. If we're writing to a group of people, Dear all, Dear everyone. Now, can you see that A and E in red? I did it on purpose, because a thing that many Polish users of English do is that they actually write capital A or capital E, just like in Polish. When we want to, if we respect someone, we write you with capital letters. You don't do this in English. It looks very unnatural. It looks bizarre. It looks strange. So you don't have to capitalize things like these. Or you can write Dear Kate, hi, hey, hello, or just Kate. In informal emails, something pretty similar. Okay, that was easy. Now let's move on to the opening lines. Now, in here, we will be trying to refer to previous contact. So let's see. We can do it in that way. Thank you for your email of the 15th of May, right? A formal opening sentence, or with reference to your email sent on the 15th of May. I apologize for not getting in contact with you before now. In neutral emails and in informal emails, things are pretty simpler. So you can just write thanks for your email, or just to say thanks for your email, that kind of thing. Now, an opening sentence, in an opening sentence, you could also give a reason to write, okay? And you could, in a formal way, you could do it by writing, I am writing in connection with something, 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 or we are writing to inform you that blah, 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 blah. In the neutral emails, things are much varied, more sexy. So you can write things like, I'm just writing to, or just a quick note to ... or maybe just a short email to tell you something. This is to inform you about something, or maybe this is to let you know that something, something, something. In informal emails, I think the most popular are just a quick note to or just a short email to And now, this is one of my favorite openers. Just a short email to exactly how to finish this. I like this opener because in one sentence you can squeeze a lot of information by just using a good verb. Right? For example, this is just a short email to clarify that the report would be sent on Friday, or just a short email to tell you that I won't be able to make it. That kind of thing. Now, attachments, right? Every second email has an attachment, so it would be good to know some of the phrases we could use to communicate that there is an attachment. In formal emails, this could be, please find attached my report, or I'm sending you something as a PDF file. In neutral emails, this could be, I've attached something, or here is the report you wanted. I'm attaching you, I'm sending you the price, the documents as an attachment. So you can see the fixed expressions on the left, informal, and different varied expressions in neutral. One of you asked me a very important question. What about enclosed? The thing is that the word enclosed is used in traditional correspondence, when you have things on paper, right? Because actually it's very hard to enclose things to an email, which is just a string of zeros and ones, the binary code. So we can still use enclose, but in reference to traditional letters. And informal emails, you can just write, I've attached, here is something you wanted, I'm just sending you something. Okay, now how to conclude? Let's see what possibilities we can have. Final comments. Right, informal emails, we can just say something like, thank you for your assistance. You remember the French king? Or do not hesitate to contact us again if you need any further information, right? Or please feel free to contact me if you have any questions, right? These are the formal phrases. Now, the neutral ones are you can see them on the screen right now. So instead of assistance, you have help, right? So thanks for your help, or maybe for cooperation. If there's anything else, just let me know. So I've got contractions. Just give me a call if you have any questions. So maybe you can see this conversational tone in here, right? Just feel free to have any questions, or let me know if you need anything. Have a good day. Have a great weekend. That kind of thing. But it's not the end. The final comment is not the last line in an email. And something that many of my students ask me about is, how to actually close an email with, with something nice, and what are the differences. So, of course, in formal emails, we can write something like, looking forward to. Now, this is something important for us to remember, because this phrase works very nicely with nouns, like looking forward to our meeting next week, right? But it also works nicely with verbs, but these verbs have to be linked with ing endings, right? So it's looking forward to hearing from you. Please remember that. But of course, you can end it in another way. Yours sincerely, kind regards, best regards, sometimes just regards, or best wishes, right? Now, the neutral ways to end an email are slightly different, because you can write things like all the best, best wishes, but also just best, which is nicely neutral. It doesn't sound very formal, or just see ya, take care, bye, speak to you soon. You can also use your initials, or just leave the closing and just write your name, right? Now, my favorite are the informal ones, because they give a lot of trouble to Polish learners of English, because, it happens that you write an email to your friend who lives abroad, and you end it with best wishes. Well, it doesn't sound very good, because this is your friend, and you end it like a business email, So what you could do is write bye, see ya, take care, but also two words that maybe could be new for you, cheers. But it's not the cheers, when you drink something and you say cheers. Cheers here could mean thank you or just goodbye. And another suggestion could be laters, which is something like Polish narka. Or you could just end it with your name, like Piotr. Right, so now let's have a look at some common mistakes. Exactly. Mistakes. If you think about the mistakes that you see in emails, I wonder what comes to your mind. Probably many mistakes that at least teachers. I can speak out of my own experience. The mistakes have to do with vocabulary, grammar, prepositions, that kind of thing. So it's about the quality of language. Very often. I've got a few questions for you now. You'll be using the chat box again. Have a look at this sentence. there is one mistake hidden in it, and I'd like you to correct it, okay? Use your chat box and just give me maybe the word that should be fixed, or maybe you can write the whole sentence. Very good. ing, yes, writing. Very good. This should be I am writing, yes, in regards to your recent email. Thank you for your answers. Now, here comes the second one. Please attach my report as promised on Friday. Anything that we could fix in here? Now, you are the teachers. You are the proofreaders. Of course, it should be attached. That was easy. Okay, so here comes the third one. If you require any information, please let me know. Is there anything that you would be tempted to correct in here? Very good. Seems like many people know the difference between countable and uncountable nouns, because information is uncountable. You cannot say informations, because information is plural in itself, right? Very good, very good. And what about this one? I look forward to hear from you soon. What could we correct in here? Brilliant. You're excellent students. I wish you were my students, but there are so many of you that I probably, I couldn't stand teaching so many people. That's why we have those webinars. So, of course, you are 100% correct. Hearing, yes, we've just had this. I look forward to hearing from you soon. And the final one, this is a bit tricky. Could you send the report for Friday? Okay, on Friday I've got some suggestions here. I'm looking for one more suggestion which sounds very natural, very English-like, and I had it from Marta and from Elżbieta and from Jacek. Guys, very good. This is, and from Anya. Right, very good. It's by, right? Well, you could potentially write you could use it with on, right? Like, when did you write this email? I wrote it on Friday, right? But if you want to say that Friday is the deadline, I would rather use by. Guys, you passed the test. Very good. And now, let's take a look at what native speakers do. Okay, I've got a short collection of emails that people have sent to me over some time, and I just did a little bit of analysis and highlighted a little bit of things, and just found that maybe you would like to see how things work, just in action, and we could see if all the theory we've just had, if it works. So have a look at this email. It goes like this. Dear Piotr, thank you for doing something. I will be indeed looking for, well, something else later in the year to, I can't give you all the details of my correspondence, and I will add your name to our list if it's all right with you. I look forward to working with you again. You see, working with you again. So if you look at this email from the linguistic point of view, you can see very interesting aspects. You can see that it's neutral, but it's made of mixed styles, because you see it's like we will, so full form, and next to it there's if that's all right with you. So this is what I said. People mix styles. People are in a hurry when they write emails. So things like these happen. Okay, let's take a look at another one. Dear Piotr, I hope that you are well. Thank you for agreeing to do something. I can't tell you what it was, obviously. I'm attaching the following documents. I would be grateful if you could send your something, it's a secret, back to me electronically by the agreed deadline. Can you see that by over here? Yes, that was the thing I was speaking of. Many thanks and looking forward to hearing from you. Exactly. Now, if you look at these phrases, the conclusion you can draw is that it's rather formal, as you can see. And indeed, the person who wrote it to me, I didn't know her. So she was formal but rather friendly, and well, the email goes somewhat towards neutral, probably, yeah, because it wasn't a very formal exchange of emails. Okay, one more. Hi Piotr, just an email to say that I found the workshop yesterday very useful. I also want to sign up for the next one. Thanks, Kate. Now, you see, this is how it works in practice. The phrase we talked about. Just an email to say that I liked your workshop, right? So it's nicely neutral. And one more, slightly more complicated. You see, this is the beginning we talked about, to whom it may concern. The person who wrote this email wrote it to a number of people. She doesn't know who could be the addressee. And there are lots of contractions. Sometimes there are apostrophes, sometimes not. It's about a girl who's pregnant, and she's just informing me about something. So mixed styles, rather neutral, but the opening phrase is kind of formal. I was just slightly interested in why the person who was a native speaker actually used it, because it sounded like something very formal, but she did. Okay, and one more, dear Piotr, thank you very much for sending in your review, and yes, we welcome frank comments, as we are keen to get our material to the highest standard possible. Now, when I read this email, what strikes me is its conversational tone. I'll read you it once more. Thank you very much for sending in your review. And yes, we welcome frank comments, because in my previous email, I wrote that, I'm sorry, but I have to criticize something, which I did. So, just like we said, conversational tone in emails is very often found. Okay, dear Piotr, this is great. That's great news. Thank you for replying so promptly. Anybody knows what promptly means? You can write it on the chat. I'll be in touch again on the 16th with best wishes, Kirsten. Sonia, Elżbieta, Krzysiek, Adam, quickly. Of course, promptly means quickly. And there's one more thing. This exclamation mark, I highlighted it in red. Because when I learned English, my teachers told me never use exclamation marks, because they look extremely powerful, and native speakers don't like them. Well, obviously, sometimes you can use exclamation marks. Well, this is an example, a genuine 100% example written by a native speaker. Well, here it's nothing, very, very serious. It's just, an emphasis that someone wanted to make here. It's still nicely neutral, and maybe it also gives this, friendly tone. And two last emails. Hi again, Piotr, and here's the material on the pre-intermediate as promised, and here you can see the word cheers being used. So again, friendly tone, nicely informal. And one more, dear Piotr, please find the two files and sample reports attached as promised. You see, attached, please find the two reports attached. This is the phrase we talked about. So kind of semi-formal, because we've got like best wishes, not too many contractions, but it's still friendly. And that's the last one. Piotr, just a quick note to tell you I won't make it tomorrow. Maybe we could meet up some other time next week. Laters, Linda. So here you have laters being used. Nice and informal. Okay. So finally we got to the place where I teach you how to write an OOO. Now, this is another mystery actually. Anybody knows what OOO means? What could be OOO? I'll wait 3 seconds and then I'll give you a little tip. Okay, Agnieszka, I can see you know what that means, and Wojciech too. Let's see if others can guess. That's a hint I could give you, how to write an OOO. OOO, anybody else? 3 O's. Public Limited Company in Russian. That's from Jacek. And Joanna. Okay, OOO is actually an out of office message, right? It's a nice abbreviation. Me and Anya came across. Actually, Anya came across it a couple of months back. So right, out of office messages. Don't you feel that sometimes they give you a little bit of, problem because, it's sometimes difficult to, find a good sample. So we are going to give you some good samples that you can use. You'll find them in your materials, so you don't have to hurry, and scribble them down. But let's have a look at them. For example, we could write, I will be out of the office on the 15th of November with limited access to emails. I will get back to you as soon as possible on my return. If you need any urgent assistance, you see assistance, please call my office on number. Apologies for the inconvenience. What's usually in an out-of-office reply is, that you give the date when you come back, and you say who is the contact person, and if there's something urgent, and you leave an apology. Another example could be this. I'm out of office on 3rd of November. So just, a single day. Please contact someone if this is urgent. Otherwise, I will reply to you as soon as I get back. Apologies for the inconvenience. Or you could write something like, I am on a business trip until the 17th of January, inclusive. So, you will be on the 17th still on your leave. I will reply to your message on my return. Very nice preposition over there. In case of any urgent inquiry, please contact the Warsaw office at email address Mark. And the last one, slightly shorter, but equally good. Thank you for your email. I'm out of office until Monday the 24th. For urgent matters, please contact someone. So you'll have all these. You'll have all these samples in your materials next week. I hope you can find them useful. All right. So now it's time for revision. So let's see how much you can remember from the things we've done. Don't worry, it's not going to be a very, very brutal test for you, but I hope you remember something at least. So that's my first question to you. We want to give a reason to write, okay? And the formal expression could be, I'm writing in connection with something. What we are looking for right now is only the first word that is missing, T and lots of underscores. What's missing? I've got the first answer from Bogdan. Bogdan, good for you. And from Wojciech and from Maria. Okay. Of course, I'm writing in connection with goes with, this is to let you know that. Something, something, something. Very good, guys. The rest of you, thank you for your answers. Now, let's now imagine that we want to attach a file, okay? And in a neutral email, we would write, I've just attached a PDF. What's the missing thing in the formal one? Of course, it's find. Guys, you're excellent. Please find attached to my report. It's a kind of a fixed expression that you usually use in formal emails. Excellent. And my final task for you is how to close. In a neutral way and an informal way, and you have only some hints. If you want to close in a neutral way and use just one word which ends with a T, you would write best. Very good. And in an informal way, that would be cheers. Excellent. Very good answers. Very good answers. I hope that there are so many of you that the popularity of cheers will increase among Polish learners of English, because I think it's still quite underused. Okay, so it's almost time to say goodbye, for which I'm very sorry, but time flies. And well, I must tell you, we've raised a lot of interesting and important aspects today. But of course, we couldn't squeeze in everything. There are many other aspects that are important in email writing. For example, customer-supplier correspondence, or inquiries, orders, discussing and agreeing terms and conditions, asking for payment, debt collection. If this is what you do, you probably would like to know how to write a good email on such a topic. Reporting by email, complaints, apologies, And something which is, becoming very popular, writing for corporate social portals like Facebook and Twitter, because styles are much, much different. All these things we can take care of course, in individual and in group courses, which are organized by Worldwide School. These are usually intensive email English courses that we can organize in a face-to-face fashion, but also through virtual classrooms. So if you have such a need or such a requirement, just give us a call and we'll give you a much extended version of and much practical version of what we could have today through the webinar. So now it's time to get some questions from you. Maybe there's something you would like to ask me about, and I hope I can, give you a good answer. There's one from Anna. Goes like this. Can you write 000 as I will be out of office from the 15th to the 20th? Actually, this is how we came across this phrase. But we, Anya and me, we were a bit surprised, we had to look it up. It's not still not very popular, so maybe if you don't want to confuse your readers, use the traditional one, okay? When it gets more popular, go ahead.